Hello everyone, it's 10 Types, and today I'm talking about Expanded, which is really exciting, I guess. I mean, Expanded is in a weird place. I bet you forgot about it, right? I kind of forgot about it, and then I just all of a sudden remembered about it. Yeah, it still exists, kinda. It also kind of doesn't exist because people don't really play it, and there isn't really a way to play it. But a few places have been running some tournaments, a very few. I think there've only been a few since rotation, but we are going to look at results from those few, specifically the well-performing decks and what they're doing, and it's really interesting, right, to see because we obviously have some new cards and we have the new ace specs, which is really neat, which are seeing, well, one of them seeing play. And that's pretty interesting. Actually, I don't know if only one's seeing play, one of the new ace specs, but one's the main new ace spec. But we'll take a look at that, as well as some new decks, as the ancient and future decks are kind of interesting, and a few other things. I haven't looked completely through the list we're going to be covering, but I've looked at them some, and they look pretty interesting. Let's just hop into things though, and I will be covering decks that I've covered before, as well as new decks. So yeah, in this first deck, Great Tusk here is a new deck. I'm not going to go over like every card. So tell me, actually, comment down below if you want me to go over like staple cards of expanded. I'd love to do that. If people are interested in that, right? But that's not what I'm going to go over right now. So I will be talking about the decks, though, obviously. So Great Tusk, obviously, Land Collapse here. It's a mill card. Discard the top card of your opponent's deck, but if you play an Ancient Supporter, you discard three more. And then you have Professor Sal's Vitality and Explorer's Guidance, which are just supporters. Their value is like fine, but it's not that impressive. You just need them because they're ancient supporters, pretty much. But they'll get the job done. And then you also have Radiant Greninja for Draw Engine. You have Girafarig, which lost zones cards in your opponent's discard. I'm not 100% sure what the exact use of. I know it's played a lot, and it can do a lot of things. It can lost zone supporters. And probably the main thing is lost zone supporters, lost zone Guzma, and then it can lost zone other stuff as well, obviously. And then Mareep, if it's in the active, it's going to put your opponent's active to sleep. And going to sleep isn't fun. And then you have Slumbering Forest, which says they need to flip two heads to wake up. And if either is tails, then they're still asleep. That's pretty annoying to have to deal with. You also have Random Receiver, which is a really nice upgrade to this deck, allowing you to essentially just get a supporter, which obviously isn't something you can always do super easily. There is no gusting, I don't think. Yeah, no gusting in this deck, which I guess is fine, as you're presumably just trying to put your opponent's active to sleep, and hopefully they don't like switch and Guzma a lot. That would be bad. You also have Focus Sash. Focus Sash is like super good. I kind of forget. I always forget about this card. It's like kind of broken. If the fighting Pokemon this card is attached to his full HP and is knocked out by damage from an opponent's attack, so there are lots of ways to get around this, but not every deck is doing that. Then this Pokemon is not knocked out and its HP becomes 10. Then discard this, but it doesn't really matter what your HP is as long as you're alive. So the main idea is that you want to. It just like buys you time, right? So you mill for every single turn, and if you can do that like 9 to 10 times because of your focus sashes, and then even more, like 11 to 12, then you're definitely winning the game. I mean, not guaranteed, but you probably are. So the big deal is how many times can you do this? What counterplay does your opponent have, and how are they able to play around what you have? Then how can you, like, for example, lost on their Guzmas with Girafarig, and also, of course, coin flips will always come into play. But yeah, and everyone's Solana's Fishing Rod recovers Focus Sash. That's a good card. Yeah, not too many other new cards, but pretty interesting deck here. With some nice little upgrades with expanded, and I think it's actually, I mean, it's pretty good. Next up, we got Bunnelby. What is this? Bunnelby Vileplume. It's a control box, right? So you have a lot of control things going on here. You have Alolan Persian GX. This is a card that I kind of wish was in standard. I mean, it doesn't exactly translate, but while it's tag teams, Ultra Beast and Pokemon with Special Energy, which are all good. I mean, Ultra Beasts aren't like that good, but tag teams are very good, and Special Energy is really, really good. So this walls a lot of things. You cannot attack with it, but that's fine. And that I don't even know what the GX attack is. Oh, it's like a snipe. Okay. And you have Pidgeotto, which looks at the top two, puts one to your hand, other on the bottom, and then Pidgeot EX to search for any card. So you have those two options. And then you have Dusknoir to also stop special energy. It just turns it off. I believe it will stop on play effects. I'm not 100% sure. Someone tell me down below if this stops on play effects of special energy. I think it does. Not 100% sure. Also, what is this art? This looks kind of. Anyway, Oh, it's like eating spears. Okay, that's kind of fun. Anyway, so then you have your Vileplume, right? You have item lock Vileplume and basic walling Vileplume. Basics are really good. Items are really good, and then of course you run. Oh, you okay? You do run a few items, but only a few. And then path and classic control stuff, right? Lusamine because it's unbanned. Also, I didn't mention this, but bans up Scoopinut is banned. So yeah, that's the thing. I think some people know that, but it is like a thing. Assuming that people are playing by the official rules, which are being updated, and I think they're being updated like fully and expanded, but I'm not 100% sure if they are, because obviously there's a lot of rulings that can get kind of confusing and expanded. But anyways, yeah, pretty classic control stuff. Removing energy, removing effects, removing mostly energy, and walling. So it's like a wall stall slash control deck, and then you have Bunnelby, which can recover stuff. You can also mill, so it's pretty good. Next up, we got ourselves a classic. Oh, I'm gonna close these so my computer it's not gonna crash. But anyway, yeah, we got a classic here, a Alolan Raichu. Some of you may have seen some expanded videos on this. I think I made one. I think a bunch of other people did. Pretty much you discard all the energy from it, and it does 30 to one of your opponent's Pokemon for each energy discarded. Not energy card, which is weird. Usually it's card, but this time it's not. So you can discard counter energy and reversal energy, giving you just a bigger bench. Or sorry, not a bigger like damage in your sky. I was looking at Skyfield, bigger bench. But yeah, so then you need to get a lot of energies on. So you use Electro GX you knock yourself out and you give up two prizes. Like let's see, yeah, you give up two prizes. And there's sometimes less run life too, but this one doesn't. And so you just like one shot stuff, right? You just kind of go in and you discard this, or yeah, discard knock it out. Accelerate 5 special energy from your discard to your Alolan Raichu or Pikachu or whatever. Then you go ahead and you discard. And you do that twice. So you do 4 reversals, 4 counter, and 2 units. I don't actually know why it's unit energy as opposed to. Oh, I guess it's unit energy for Gengar Mimikyu. So we do see Gengar Mimikyu to buy yourself a turn 1 going second, which is really nice. Which is really really disruptive. And then you go ahead and you discard a bunch of energy, and then you go ahead and so that's 3. So that's like 22 times like 30, which is a lot. That's like 600. That's over 600 damage, which is absurd. And hopefully it wins you the game, because if it doesn't, you lose because you don't really have any other backup plans. But it's pretty powerful. Pretty insane deck here. Kind of weird. I'm sure some of you are familiar with this deck, as it is one of the newer decks to come out of Expanded and is kind of funny. Next up, we got a few Lugia decks. I think just, yep, 2 here. Lugia V-Star with double dragon energy, providing 2 drag. Oh, I didn't even know it had like a rainbow texture in the background. Never noticed that before, but 2 energy of any type to dragon Pokemon, and we see a few different attackers. We see, oh, in this one list does run Iron Hands EX. But then we got Garchomp V. Got European and Garchomp GX, Negnail and Guzzlord. This list does not run Iron Hands, but it runs Koraidon EX, which can do 280, which is really nice. So you just kind of like really destroy your opponent with your attackers. And this list does run powerful colorless. They both do, so you can just one-shot stuff with Lugia as well. I'm not overly familiar with Lugia and Expanded, but I mean it's really good, right? You just get like lots of energy in play and just one-shot everything. The big issue is you do give multiple prizes, but you have like decent bulk, so if decks aren't able to one-shot you back, you just kind of win. And also GG End discards 2 of your opponent's Pokemon in play, so you can actually turn 1 Lugia. You can Wally to get Lugia, and then Battle Pressure the Archeops into the discard, and then go ahead and do that, and then like get the 2 Archeops in play, and you can GG End to discard 2 of your opponent's Pokemon in play. So if they pass turn 1 with only 2 guys in play, you just win. You do have some disruption in Silent Lab and other disruption cards. These lists are very similar actually. Only a few cards off, it looks like. And yeah, I mean, it's a very good deck. It's a staple of Expanded. It's kind of like Lugian Standard, but much stronger. Right? You have a lot more options and a lot more power behind yourself as well. Next up, we got a couple of Draco lists. We got 2 here. We have, oh, these are pretty different. So this one runs Noivern. Wait, what's the difference? Okay, so Sorry about that. So then you have Draco V-Star. Draco V-Star copies Dragon Pokemon in the discard. You power it up using Gardenia's Vigor, apparently. Oh no, and then you have double Dragon Energy, right? So you have double Dragon Energy plus an attachment or Gardenia's Vigor or Raihan or whatever. And you go ahead and you just kind of start going and doing big attacks. So you have a bunch of options. You have Mega Charizard EX, as well as or Mega Rayquaza EX. Mega Rayquaza EX and Mega Charizard EX are like kind of the same thing. They both do 230 or sorry 300 damage, and the one discards energy, the one mills yourself. Or you also have Koraidon EX, so you damage yourself some, but you don't go ahead and mill yourself a lot. Or you can copy the attack that does damage based on damage counts on you. You also have Yasuo Gudra V-Star, which is super annoying because it's really tanky. Noivern GX find on both these lists, which is super powerful. What are the options? It special energy locks, it item locks, and you do have a spread GX attack, which is not used very much, but is an option. But your better GX stack is Dialga GX, which just lets you take another turn, which is kind of broken. And then this list does run Noivern EX. Oh, I guess it walls basics, and the special energy attack's a little bit better, and it stops Stadium, so that can be useful in certain scenarios. The list does run Parallel City. Yeah, these lists are actually very similar. But then you do also run, this list runs Prime Catcher, and this list runs Super Scoop Up. So this is interesting. Prime Catcher, I think this is the first list to run Prime Catcher. This one. And so that's pretty interesting. Prime Catcher is good, but you do have Guzma. Then Computer Search is also, no, Super Scoop Up, sorry, Scoop Up Cyclone, not Super Scoop Up, wrong guy. Scoop Up Cyclone's nice because it's like healing, but then the other list runs Turd Scenario. So there are different things going on here. I feel like A-Specs aren't as good as they used to be, but I think also Computer Search and Dowsing Machine are always good. We do have Reducer Power as well that like recovers stuff and sets you up. So there isn't really an A-Spec you have to play, but of course any A-Spec is good. An A-Spec is good. Next up, we got Raging Bolt. We actually have 3 lists. We have 2 that are Palkia. These are like the identical list. Oh, they're not identical. Never mind. Oh, they are identical. So this, I think. Anyway, so are they? I'm like struggling here. No, they're not. This one runs ADP though. We'll look at the one with ADP because ADP is the GOAT. Now, ADP lets you take extra prizes. Very broken. But Raging Bolt EX, you discard a bunch of energy from your Pokemon in play. But the idea is it can literally be any type of energy. So you just go ahead and you attach a double dragon to Raging Bolt EX, and then you get energy in play somewhere else. For example, you do double dragon here, and then you go ahead and accelerate a bunch of energy. So this is a more traditional list, kind of like how it's played in standard, where you Satis Vitality and stuff, and then you have Max Elixir to give even more energy in play. Tapu Koko Prism Star as well. That's a very like ancient boxy list, or ancient focused list, versus the other one, which is you got your Palkia V-Star, which accelerates a bunch of energy in play on one turn. You also have Giratina. Giratina, I'm not entirely sure why this is in the deck. I know it adds damage. I guess it's helpful with Radiant Ninja Math and things like that, but super disruptive and super powerful. I mean, like knocking out your opponent's bench can be super disruptive to their setup. And then you also obviously can just take one shots with Raging Bolt, and you do have Aqua Punch, which is kind of funny to see in a deck, just a one of that. But the idea is you have get like a big turn with Palkia V-Star, but then you do still have the Sandy Shock CX to accelerate yourself as well. No Satis Vitality though. This is more like a classic expanded list. You can attack with ADP as well to set up and do damage, and yeah, you got a lot of stuff going on here, which is really powerful. Next up, we got 2 just straight up Palkia. These are literally the same list. Palkia list. And pretty much what you do, Palkia V-Star, you got Kyurem VMAX. Some of you may have played in standard with this. Pretty much the idea is that you just go ahead. You have Wally as well. You can item lock with Cragnole. You can do the Radiant Ninja spread. Chimpow to take big knockouts, but the big idea is Kyurem VMAX plus a Rangoon to do big one-shots, and also Origin Form Palkia V-Star if that is enough. Really powerful there. Pretty normal stuff. This deck's been floating around for a little while. You have a lot of different options. We do Prime Catcher add to the mix as well, because you do have a lot of supporters you want to be using, and then you also want to be able to use that gust effect, and it's just nice, giving you more options. Next up, we got a few lightning lists. I think all the rest are lightning lists, which is fun. We looked at a few other lightning lists as well. And this is a classic. Vikavolt, not too much to say about this one. Does run Nothing new. Yeah, okay. So pretty much you just go ahead and you annoy your opponent. I think the Iron Thorns EX will be a great new addition, but not right now. And so you just go ahead, Vikavolt, item lock them, or you just one-shot them for 2 prizes or 3 prizes, depending on the scenario. Next, we got Future Box. This one's really interesting. We got Miraidon EX. If your opponent's active has damage, you hit 160 for Lightning Psychic, which is one double dragon. Then you have Lightning Package with Tabakoga, Prism Star, and Vikavolt V, and that can be used to accelerate to Naganadel and Guzzlord as well, and you have Raihan and stuff. And then the way to get damage on is just going to be an Iron Valiant EX. I feel like if it's prized, that seems bad. But then you can add damage with Iron Crown EX, and you can just do very big damage relatively easily, which is really nice. Not too much to say about this deck, but it seems really fun and really powerful, and that's good for it. And lastly, we got the Old Faithful. It's not that old. It's pretty new, but it's Sarvina V, which you just discard your bench Pokemon and then you just take one shot. It's a really funny deck. Then you have bench Pokemon you can recover like Giratina and Execute, and then of course you also have Pokemon that you don't really want to play like Crobat V, Dedenne GX, and Lepidolli GX, and Eldegoss V, and kind of Dragonite EX as well. So you can just do that, and then you recover and you pretty much loop it. It's a really fun deck. It's a kind of a very straightforward deck, but a very fun one. But yeah, I mean, it's a deck. It's really powerful as well, and it's kind of funny. But anyway, that's all for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, consider liking, subscribing, hitting the bell, all the good stuff. Tell me if you want more expanded content. As always, I'm excited to see you in the next video.